My esteemed viewers, make una allow me laugh this little yet because not be me cause coronavirus or COVID-19. And I'm sure you all are safe and your families as well. Please stay safe, take precautionary measures to stay safe for your families and your loved ones. Um, I'm just going to make a very short video because some people are worried about longer videos on my platform, and I acknowledged it. So this one is just going to be a very short one.
Out in Kansas, one soldier got the Spanish flu. And from there, it gradually spread to various parts of the country. I would say the most horrible thing of that whole epidemic was that the crisis came so rapidly. The crisis came within the first 2 to 3 hours of your sickness. You either survived or you were dead. When the flu epidemic hit, somebody would ring, let's say they rang the doorbell at 6 a.m. in the morning and said, my mother just passed away. I want you to take care of the funeral service. That before the sunset on that day, that whole family was gone. Of the 8 people that lived there, I'm the only one that got it, believe it or not. Fortunately, we had a very wonderful doctor. And he took care of me and he pulled me out through very quickly because, as I said, the crisis is there. It came with an intense fever and you were gone. Everybody wore these face masks, like you see in a surgical room. And you must remember this, that in the flu epidemic, all congregations and gatherings were forbidden. There were no schools, there were no church services, there were no meetings of any kind. Everything was forbidden of people to come together. You had to keep people apart from one another so that the infection wouldn't spread so rapidly. The memories were so deep in their mind of those that survived or that didn't get it. They were reticent. I would say to about 1922 or thereabouts, where people were willing again to go back to congregating and to feel at ease in church or in school.
In 1918, after the biggest pandemic, the Spanish flu pandemic of 1918, Steiner was asked, what was this all about? And he said, well, viruses are simply excretions of a toxic cell. Viruses are pieces of DNA or RNA with a few other proteins. They bud out from the cell. They happen when the cell is poisoned. And the cells get poisoned, they try to purify themselves by excreting debris, which we call viruses. If you go to the current theory of viruses called exosomes, and the latest head of the NIH giving a talk on the complexity of viruses, you will see this is perfectly in line with the current thinking on what a virus really is. So what happened in 1918? There was a huge, in every pandemic in the last 150 years, there was a quantum leap in the electrification of the Earth. In 1918, late fall of 1917, there was the introduction of radio waves around the world. Whenever you expose any biological system to a new electromagnetic field, you poison it, you kill some, and the rest go into a kind of suspended animation so that, interestingly, they live a little bit longer and sicker. And then starts in World War II with the next pandemic, with the introduction of radar equipment all over the Earth, blanketing the entire Earth in radar fields. First time humans have ever been exposed to that. In 1968, there was the Hong Kong flu, and it was the first time the Earth has a protective layer in the Van Allen belt, which essentially integrates the cosmic fields from the sun and the Earth, from the moon and Jupiter, etc., integrates that and essentially distributes that to the living beings of the Earth. And we put satellites emitting radioactive frequencies in the Van Allen belt. Within 6 months, we had a new viral pandemic. Why viral? Because the people are poisoned, they excrete toxins, they look like viruses. People think it's a flu epidemic. In the 1918 epidemic, the Boston Health Department decided to investigate the contagiousness of this. So they, believe it or not, took hundreds of people with the flu and they sucked the snot out of their nose and injected it into the healthy people who didn't have the flu, and not one time could they make the next person sick. They did this over and over again, and they were not able to demonstrate contagion. They even did it with horses who apparently got the Spanish flu, and they put bags over their head, and the horses sneezed in the bag, and they put the bag over the next horse, and not one horse got sick. You can read about this in a book called The Invisible Rainbow by Arthur Furstenberg, who chronicles all the steps in the electrification of the Earth and how within 6 months there was a new flu pandemic all over the world. And when you hear the normal explanations, how did it go from Kansas to South Africa in 2 weeks? So the entire world got the symptoms at the same time, in spite of the fact that the mode of transportation was horseback and boats, and there's no explanation for it. They just say, we don't know how that happened. But when you think about it, with these radio waves and other frequencies that some of you have in your pocket and on your wrist, you can send a signal to Japan and it arrives instantaneously. So any of you who don't believe, there is an electromagnetic field that communicates globally within seconds, just is not paying attention to this. And I will only finish by pointing out that there has been a dramatic and quantum leap in the last 6 months with the electrification of the Earth. And I'm sure a lot of you know what that is. It's called 5G, where they now have 20,000 radiation-emitting satellites, just like the radiation-emitting thing in your pocket and on your wrist and that you use all the time. That is not compatible with health. I'm sorry to say it, it's not compatible with health. That is a water destructuring device. And for any of you who say, yeah, well, we're not electrical beings, we're just physical matter, then don't bother doing an EKG or an EEG or a nerve conduction test, because we are electrical beings and the chemicals are only the byproduct of those electrical impulses. And I'll finish with, anybody want to make one guess as to where the first completely blanketed 5G city in the world was? Exactly.
I don't want to go into the 5G network controversy and the theory. But I want to tell you, you as a Nigerian, the headquarters of darkness, you don't get light. You're talking about 5G. 5G is about smart cities. And if you want to understand more about it and my position, you can go and watch the last 2 videos I made. Very important, very expository. I don't want to go into that. After watching this video, go and watch that video and share it. You will never get light, electricity. You are worried about 5G. Smart cities, when they say they operate 24/7 with electricity. You think, say, you go work for Nigeria for now, you are worried about it for now. You are just there trying to, I've seen people trying to drag up and down, whether or not. You are trying to adapt. We are always copying, follow, 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 follow. It is time, I keep saying it, it is time for Africa to think Africa, because Africa is still the virgin land that will be the hope of the world for survival if we take the right step and develop our own civilization and stop following these men that are bound to destroy humanity. I'm ending it here. It is time for you to start clicking on the share button so that more people could get this video. Because if you know share them, you follow for the problem. Honestly speaking, if you know share this video and get it out there for our people to see, I'm not emotionally blackmailing you, but I'm telling you, you are part of our problem. Because if the people don't get this knowledge, more of us will keep dying. We keep misplacing our priority. Thank you for watching this far. I love you so much. Keep liking, keep sharing, keep watching. We'll keep you informed, because that is our commitment, to liberate my people with right information. I'm signing out, but without saying, stay safe.